So the access modifiers, so that is where we have stopped in the last class. Yes. So today I'm going to start with another important topic today. So this is the most widely used concept here in Java. So again, we're going back to the polymorphism itself. So earlier we have implemented polymorphism concept through method overloading. So we have used method overloading. Now we'll go through method overriding. So this is the other way of implementing the polymorphism here. Okay, this is the other way of implementing polymorphism. Let's see what is this method overriding concept today. And for this, I'm going to consider our example here of savings account and junior savings account. Yes. So, so far we are working with this polymorphism. We are working with this inheritance here using savings account and junior savings account. You know that savings account is a superclass, and junior savings account, it inherits or it extends junior savings account class. It extends junior savings account class. Now, you know, you'll find that this junior savings account class, it inherits all these methods which are defined in the savings account class. I mean the withdraw methods as well as the deposit methods which you got in the superclass, in the savings account class. You know that, right? I can say that, so all that methods like withdraw, deposit, which are defined in the savings account class, so they are also available for the junior savings account class. Okay. So, but you see, junior savings account class is a slightly different class from the savings account class. That means it represents uh, junior savings account objects, so which are little different from normal savings accounts. Now we are going to talk about a business requirement here, not any technical aspects of it. Now uh, for the junior savings accounts also, a bank is issuing a debit card, and but the limit, withdrawal limit for this debit card, let's say, is very much restricted, which is very much limited. Let's say only small amount can be withdrawn from that using that card, let's say, because it has to be handled by the juniors, right? So only little amount, the amount which can be drawn Okay, for the junior savings account is very much limited, let's say. So normally you see for the withdrawal limit for the from the ATM for the savings account, we have specified it as 40,000, right? Let's say the withdrawal limit for the junior savings account is only 5,000, let's say. Just imagine, just 5,000, let's say. Maximum withdrawal limit from the ATM per transaction is only 5,000, let's say, for junior savings account, because it's a junior savings account, right? Has to be handled by the kids. So that means the withdrawal limit, the rule, withdrawal rule, one of the withdrawal rule for the junior savings account is different from the savings account, right? Hope you got this. Okay, now you know what here, but you will find that the savings, the junior savings account class, it is inheriting, uh, it is inheriting the withdraw method from the superclass. It inherits the withdraw method from the superclass. Yes, that withdrawal functionality which is defined in the superclass, the savings account class, allows the customer to withdraw 40,000. But you see, the junior savings account customers should not be able to do that. That means, can I say that the junior savings account is inheriting a method from the superclass whose functionality is not appropriate for the junior savings account class? Junior savings account class is inheriting a method from the superclass whose functionality is not appropriate for the junior savings account class. Can we say that? You got this point, all of you? Can I have yes or no? So the requirement which I've explained you people now. So that case which I told you people. So you people got it? Yes, no, no? Yes. Okay. So once again, I'll quickly explain this in short. You know, in other words, I can say that here, when a subclass is inheriting a method from the superclass, when a subclass is inheriting a method from the superclass, you'll find that the superclass method functionality may not be appropriate for the subclass. The superclass method functionality may not be appropriate for the subclass. So in our example, you see the withdrawal limit for savings account is 40,000. But as for the bank rules, the withdrawal limit for the maximum withdrawal limit from the ATM for the junior savings account is only 5,000, let's say. Maximum withdrawal limit for junior savings account is 5,000. Okay, but you see this withdraw method which is defined in the savings account, you'll find that the junior savings account, it inherits it. That means it gets a method, withdraw method, which allows the customers to withdraw 40,000. But as per the rules of the bank, the junior savings account is supposed, the customers of the junior savings account should be able to only withdraw 5,000. That is the point here. Yes. So hope, so this is clear for everyone. So now this fact you have to understand. So this is the most common thing which you'll see. While inheriting, a subclass may get a method from the superclass whose functionality may not be appropriate for the subclass. Okay, fine. So I will relate it to an example, to a real world. Okay, for suppose, you know what? Let's say you got a flat from your parents. Okay, you got a flat. Your parents gave you people a flat. Um, you know, which you got it from your parents. Yes, you are inheriting it. Yes. from your parents. You'll get it automatically. Say, as part of your share, you got this flat. Okay, that flat, as of now, the interiors or the decoration of the flat is according to your parents' tastes. But let's say the interiors and the look, you know, your taste is different, let's say. So you want to live in that flat, and you got a different taste completely. The decoration or interiors. You want it to be, you got a different taste. And what you will do now, you don't like it, right? Maybe you don't want that interior. So what you'll do, so but you're getting it from your parents. Okay. So of course it happens, right? You may get some things from your parents and you don't want this. So what you'll do, at least let's say in case of properties, a car, a bike, a flat, some house. So it is not according to your tastes. What you'll do, thinking, okay, hey guys, don't go in deep. Now I don't want you people to think about the interiors and all. Just a small hint. Okay, so you will modify, right? You will renovate it, right? You will renovate it. You will change it according to your. You will modify it according to your tastes. That is what you're going to do, right? So if you don't like that flat or the interiors, of course you won't leave it, right? So you'll still retain it. The only thing is you'll do some modifications here, right? That is what you'll be doing. So you see, here also we got a similar case. Now the savings account class, sorry, junior savings account class. So it inherits a method from the superclass. It inherits a method from the superclass. But the thing is here, the functionality of that method is not appropriate for the subclass. The functionality of that method is not appropriate for the subclass. Okay. So what the subclass should do here in this case, the subclass, what it is supposed to do. This is where the method overriding comes into the picture. This is where the concept of method overriding is used. Now subclass, what it can do is here, it can define the method with the same signature again here, and implement the functionality according to its requirement. I can say that subclass can redefine the method again here. It can define the method with the same signature as if it is declared in the superclass without changing the method signature. So it is inheriting that method, right? So it can define it again and implement that method functionality according to its requirement. That is overriding. You see, I will do that here now. So I'm talking about the withdraw method, which allows the customers to withdraw the amount from the ATM. The second method here. You see, now what I'll do is here, I'll define this method. The signature of this method will be same as the superclass method, which it is inheriting. You see, now this is the method this is the superclass method which I want to override. That means redefine that method again here. So what is the method signature of this method? So we draw int comma int, right? You see, the signature of this method will be same as the superclass method. But you see that method definition, the body of this method is going to change here. So the definition of functionality will be same as the, sorry, it will be different here. It will be appropriate to the subclass. So now what I'll do is here, you see, we'll do this. No, same. The only thing is the withdrawal amount, I'm changing it to 5,000. Okay. So now see this method which we have defined in the subclass, I can say that it is overriding the superclass method here. It overrides the superclass method. So the withdrawal limit is 5,000. Okay. So just make a note of it regarding the method overriding point. So method overriding is the concept of defining a method in the subclass whose method signature is same as inherited method from the superclass. But the functionality of this method, subclass method, will be implemented according to the subclass requirements. So method overriding is the concept of defining a method in the subclass whose method signature is same as inherited method from the superclass. Yes, but the functionality of the subclass method will be implemented according to the subclass requirements. Please make a note of it. Okay, good. So now why we are overriding the superclass method in the subclass? What you people understood? Yes? Why we are doing this? Yes. So why we are overriding the superclass method here? Yes. You see, I got some answers. Yeah. To meet the subclass requirements to make changes that we needed in the subclass. Yes. See, often what happens is during in case of inheritance, so the subclass may inherit the method from the superclass whose functionality may not be appropriate for the subclass. So the subclass has to make the changes to that method appropriately to make use of it. Yes. So the subclass will be overriding that method here. How the subclass can make the changes to that superclass method functionality by overriding it in the subclass. That's it. Okay. So now there are certain rules which you need to follow while overriding the superclass method. So what are they? Let's see. So what are the rules which you need to follow while overriding the superclass method? Please make a note of it. So the first rule is the subclass while overriding the superclass method, you know, it is supposed to use the same method signature. Okay, the first rule is the subclass while overriding the superclass method, it should follow the same method signature. That is the first rule. Okay. Next, the second rule. So the second rule is, just listen to me first of all. The subclass, while overriding the superclass method, it can use the same access modifier which is used by the superclass method, or it can use an access modifier which is less restricted than superclass method access modifier. Yes, please make a note of it. The subclass, the subclass, while overriding the superclass method, the subclass, while overriding the superclass method, it can use the same access modifier which is used by the superclass method. It can use the same access modifier which is used by the superclass method. Okay. The subclass can use the access modifier which is used by the superclass method. Okay. Or the subclass or the subclass can use or the subclass can use an access modifier, or the subclass can use an access modifier which is less restricted than superclass method access modifier, or the subclass can use an access modifier, the subclass can use an access modifier which is less restricted than superclass method access modifier. Okay, the subclass can use an access modifier which is less restricted than superclass method access modifier here. Okay, that is the second rule. Yeah, just a second, please. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. So, so this rule which I have specified now, let me make you people understand what is it. I'll explain it. You see, as of now here in the subclass, so what is the access modifier which you are using here? In the subclass, what is the access modifier which you are using here? Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Yes, you see the subclass as access modifier is public here. So subclass can use public, or the subclass can also use an access modifier which is less restricted than the superclass method access modifier. Okay, subclass can use same access modifier, or it can use less restricted access modifier. Now what is the superclass method access modifier here? What is the superclass method access modifier here? It is public, right? So subclass can use also use public. That's fine. It can use same access modifier. So subclass can also use an access modifier. Subclass can also use an access modifier which is less restricted than the superclass method access modifier. So is there any access modifier which is less restricted than superclass method access modifier in this example as of now? Superclass method access modifier is public, right? So is there any access modifier which is less restricted than public? No. You won't find any access modifier which is less restricted than the superclass method access modifier. Okay? Yes. So you will find that public itself is a least restricted access modifier, right? Public itself is a least restricted access modifier. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, public itself is a least restricted access modifier. Just a second. So you cannot use any other access modifier other than public in this example. You see, for example, if I use protected here, you'll get an error. So what is the error? Let's see. In the subclass, I'm using protected. Superclass method is public. Here also you're supposed to use public, or an access modifier which is less restricted than public. But there is no access modifier which is less restricted than public. Okay. Yes. So you see, what is the error? Cannot reduce the visibility of the inherited method. It cannot reduce the visibility of the inherited method. So that is the message so which you're going to get here. Okay, fine. So, and you cannot use any other access modifier also. Only public is allowed. Got it? Yes. Okay. Now, for suppose, let's say the superclass method is protected, Now, what are the access modifiers which we can use? If the superclass method is protected, then what access modifiers can we use? If it is if the superclass method is protected, what access modifiers can we use? So we can use public, that's it, public and public and protected. Yes, both public and protected. Okay, so you'll find that you can use both public and protected here. Public, protected because it is same access modifier. You can also use public because it is less restricted than the superclass method access modifier. Public because it is less restricted than superclass method access modifier. That's it. Okay, so any questions in this regard, please let me know. Any questions in this regard? Hope you people got it right. Okay, good. Next, we got default. So let's say the superclass method is default. Then what access modifiers? What access modifiers can we use for the subclass now? If the superclass method is default, then what access modifiers can we use for the subclass? Default, protected, yes, you can use all the three access modifiers. Fine. Public, protected, and default. Okay. Now, you know what here? Yes, what you people said is right. If the superclass method is default, if it is declared as default, then in the subclass you can use public, protected, and default here. In the subclass you can use public, protected, and default. Yes. So, but there is one point which you need to remember. What is it? For suppose if the superclass and subclass are in the same package, then you will find that the subclass will be able to inherit the default method of the superclass. The subclass will be able to inherit the default method of the superclass. But what if the subclass, you know, is in a different package and superclass is in a different package? You see, I'll move the savings account class to com package. I'll move the savings account class to the com package. Okay. Now, in this case, you see subclass is in a different package and superclass is in a different package. Now, what members of the superclass are inherited by the subclass now? Default members, are they inherited? This default method which you got in the superclass, is it inherited by the subclass? No. You can just check that notes which I gave you people in the last class, right? You'll find that default members of the superclass are never inherited by the subclass if it is in a different package. If it is in a different package, default members cannot be inherited by the subclass. Okay? Yes. So if the subclass, if it is not inheriting that superclass method, then will it be able to override the superclass method? Will it be able to override the superclass method? No. It cannot. You see, that is what the error is here. You see, though I'm using protected, which is less restricted than default, see, I can't override this method now. So you will get this error. What it says, the method withdraw in junior savings account must override or implement superclass method. You're getting this error. Yes. Okay. Hope you people got it. So when the default method of the superclass can be inherited by the subclass when it is in the same package. If the default method of the superclass, if it is in a different package, cannot be inherited by the subclass. So hope this is clear for you people. This is how the overriding works. So subclass can only override those methods which are inherited by the subclass. You see, subclass can only inherit those methods. Can only override those methods which it inherits from the superclass. It should be able to inherit the method from the superclass. Then only it will be able to override that method. Otherwise, it will not be able to override that method. Yeah, is this point clear? So also, if you want, you can make a note of it. Subclass can only override the methods of the superclass which are inherited by the subclass. That's it. Okay. So now, you know, here the question is, what about the private access modifiers? What is the subclass is private? Sorry, superclass method is private. What if the superclass method is private? The subclass, will it be able to override the superclass method, private method of the superclass? Yes. You see, private methods of the superclass, they are never inherited by the subclass, so they can never be overridden. Okay? Yes. Private members of the superclass, you know, they're never inherited by the subclass, and we can never override the private methods of the superclass in the subclass. That is another point. Okay, good. So, hope you people got it. Yes. Now the last thing which I wanted to show you people here is, just a minute. Let me make this method public so that subclass can override it. Okay. Superclass method is public now. Now what's the problem? Just a minute. Oh, sorry. Superclass method is public. So you cannot reduce the visibility, right? So use public. Fine. So have you noticed this annotation on top of this method? It is an annotation. So where you see at the rate is actually called as an annotation here. Sorry, at the rate followed by a name. Wherever you see at the rate followed by name, so we'll call it as a annotation. Yes. So this is override annotation here. Yes. You know, this annotation on top of the class here, it indicates that this method is overriding a superclass method. Okay, so this annotation here, it indicates that the method is overriding the superclass method here. Okay, it is overriding the superclass method. Is that annotation mandatory? Are you people familiar with it? Is that annotation mandatory on top of the method? Okay, actually it is not mandatory, that's right. But if it is not, it's optional generally, it's not mandatory. What is the advantage of placing this annotation on top of that method then? So if it is optional, you may or may not place it. You see, even if I don't place it, still, it doesn't affect that overriding concept here. Okay, yes. Still, I can say that definitely the subclass is overriding the superclass method. Then what is the advantage of adding that annotation on top of the method? What do people think? Sorry. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Exactly. We are making this method more readable. If someone finds this method and the annotation on top of that method at the rate override, they can understand that okay, this method is overriding the superclass method. It indicates that okay, this method is overriding the superclass method here. Okay, yes. Now the question is here, we can also do this using a comment. Why to use annotation? Annotation also instructs the compiler. It is an instruction to the compiler as well. The compiler, what it does now, when it is compiling this code, it will check whether this method is really overriding the superclass method or not. You know what? You can only place this annotation on top of the method which is overriding the superclass method. We can only place this annotation on top of the method which is overriding the superclass method here. Definitely the superclass method, definitely this method should be overriding the superclass method. Only on top of that method you can use this or you can place this annotation. Okay, you got the point? Yes. You see, for suppose I got some method here this way, say public void process, something like this. Now this method is just defined in the subclass. Now on top of this method here, I can't place this annotation override because it is not overriding the superclass method. This method is not overriding the superclass method. Hence we cannot place this annotation on top of that method. You see what is the error you get here? It says the method process of type junior savings account must override or implement a super type method. It must override or implement a super type method here. You got it, all of you? Yes. So why we are using this annotation at the rate override? Okay. So far the rules which we have defined. This is clear, right? Can I have yes? Okay, great. Thank you. Now there is one more rule. Okay, let's see. Just a minute before that. There is one more rule. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so please make a note of this second, sorry, third rule, I can say. Yes, third rule. So the third rule is the subclass while overriding the superclass method, the subclass while overriding the superclass method, the subclass while overriding the superclass method, it can use the same return type. It can use the same return type which is used by the superclass method. Okay, it can use the same return type which is used by the superclass method. Once again, I'll repeat it. The subclass, while overriding the superclass method, it can use the same return type which is used by the superclass method, which is used by the superclass method, or the subclass or the subclass can use the return type, or the subclass can use the return type, or the subclass can use a return type which is a subtype of superclass method return type, or the subclass can use a return type which is a subtype of superclass method return type. The subclass can use a return type which is a subtype of superclass method return type. It should be a subtype of superclass method return type here. Yes. So yes, have you people made a note of it? Okay, fine. So now let me explain this. Okay, I will explain it. I'll explain it. So we have to consider another example here for that. Let's say you got a class called as X and you got a class called as Y, and you got another class here called as super, let's say, and here we got a method this way in the super class, and there is another class called as sub. It extends super. Now the subclass here, you see, which you got, it can override that superclass method this way. Okay, you see the superclass method return type is X. X means that class type. So yes, we can have class type also as return type. Okay, it is possible to have the class type as return type. Yes. Okay. Now most of the times you'll find that the return types will be class type or primitive data types. But especially we'll talk about this primitive data class types now. Okay. Just a second, please. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. So now you see, as per our rule, the subclass can use return type which is same as superclass method return type. Okay, or it should be a subtype of superclass method return type. But here, you know what? In our case, okay, X the same return type. This is legal. This is valid. Now the subclass, can it use Y as a return type? The subclass here, will it be able to use Y as a return type? No, because why not? Because you see this return type is not a subtype of superclass method return type. So superclass method return type is X. So it should be always the subtype of superclass method return type. It should be always a subtype of superclass method return type. Now, for suppose if I do this, so I'll make that Y extends X. Now the subclass, will it be able to take that use that return type? Subclass, will it be able to use that return type? Yes. Now this is possible. Okay. As per the statement which I gave you people, subclass can do this. So this return type is accepted because this return type is a subtype of superclass method return type. Superclass method return type is X. So Y is the subtype of X here. So you can do this. So these are the only two possibilities. So hope this is clear for you people. Any questions in this regard, please let me know. Okay, these are the rules. Fine. So this is about the overriding concept here. Now, um, let's go back. So we got junior savings account class here. You see, sorry, if I call the withdraw method here, so which withdraw method will be invoked here in this case? So savings account withdraw method or junior savings account withdraw method? Okay, Now you see this method, it is defined in both the classes, savings account class as well as junior savings account class. So junior savings account class is overriding that method, right? Yes. So
The junior saving count method will be called
yes,
depending upon the object type rather than reference.
that's right, exactly. So you'll find that the junior savings account method will be invoked in this case. Junior savings account method will be invoked here in this case. That's right. Because this junior savings account is over method is overriding the superclass method, right? And especially we are using junior savings account object reference here to call that method. Got the point here? Okay. So using junior savings account object reference to call the method. Yes. Okay. Now, you know, in the last class we were talking about final keyword. As I told you people, we can use final keyword for the variables. So if you declare a variable as final, it becomes constant. And we can use final keyword for the class. So if we declare a class as final, then we cannot extend that class. And the other thing, the last thing is, we can also declare the method as final. So what happens if a method is declared as final? Now you should be able to understand that. What happens if a method is declared as final? Yes. So the final method of the superclass, you'll find that it cannot be overridden in the subclass. Yes, a subclass cannot override the final method of the superclass. Okay. So can a subclass inherit the final method of the superclass? What do you people think? Subclass, will it be able to inherit the final method of the superclass? Yes, it will be able to do that. The subclass will be able to override. We will be able to inherit the final method of the superclass, but it cannot override it. Okay. You see, now I'll declare this method, you see, as final. Now the subclass, you know that it is overriding this method. So earlier it was working fine, but now you see in this case, it won't work. What it says, cannot override the final method from savings account. Cannot override final method from savings account. That is what it says. Okay, fine. Now we'll talk about object references. We are done with this overriding as of now. So, okay, again, this is also related to overriding. Somehow it is related to overriding, I can say. Overriding. You see, generally, if I declare a reference variable this way, okay, into this reference variable, what type of object reference can we store in this reference variable? What type of object reference can we store here? So basically, this reference variable which you got here account, you can store what type of object references here. So we can store savings account object reference. Yes, that's right. Very good. So the account reference variable can take savings account object reference as well as if there are any subclass objects, even that subclass object references also, you can store them here into this reference variable. Okay. That means, okay, I can store savings account object reference. This works. I can store savings account object reference. We can do this. But you know what? Here, even this is possible. Junior savings account object reference also you can store it. Why? Because this is only possible because here junior savings account class it extends savings account class here. What it does, it extends savings account class. That's the reason why it is possible. Okay, it's only possible because the junior savings account class it extends savings account. Okay, yes, got it. Yeah, but you see, I can't store a completely different type of object reference. For suppose we have created a order class, right? I can't store order class object reference here. It won't work. So type mismatch cannot convert from order to savings account. This is not possible. Okay, fine. Now you see, if this is the case, just a second. Let's say if subclass object reference is stored in this reference variable, superclass reference variable. If I call that withdraw method here, see which takes two parameters which you are overriding. Now, for suppose if I do this, now which withdraw method will be invoked here? Now which withdraw method will be invoked? subclass. Okay, good. But you see that reference variable is superclass type, right? It's savings account type, right? So why it will call the subclass method here? Yes, you know what? In case of overriding, please remember always the object reference matters here. So which class object reference we have stored here in this account variable? The subclass object reference. The junior savings account object reference is stored in that reference variable. So that's the reason why the subclass method itself will be invoked, not the superclass method. Okay? Yes. So always that object reference which is stored, based on that, the method will be invoked here. Okay, fine. Any questions? Okay, good. Now, are you people done with the task? Are you people doing the tasks? Okay, so I got another task for you people. Okay, just try this. So I want you people to, uh, define the classes here to represent two different types of employee objects, contract employee and permanent employee. Okay, let's say in a company, you got two different types of employees, contract employees and permanent employees. Now your task is to define the classes here appropriately to represent two different types of objects here, contract employee and permanent employee objects. Now remember one thing here, I want you people to use all the concepts so far which you have discussed. Each and every concept. Okay, you will be able to do that. You will come across it. Yes. So will you people do this? Okay, good. So I got a prompt response. Thanks. So I really appreciate and I'll really feel happy for you people if you do that. And I'll be more excited to teach you people a lot. Yes. Okay, fine. So I'll do one thing. I'll stop it here today. I'm going to take 2.5 hours class tomorrow. Okay, 2.5 hours class tomorrow to compensate today's half hour. So we got a class tomorrow at same time, but it will extend another half hour. Okay, it will be 2.5 hours. Just for your information, we got a 2.5 hours class tomorrow. Okay, yes, fine. So please try this task and mail me without fail. Just mail me. Okay, please mail me the tasks, exercises which I'm giving you people. If possible, try to complete this task before coming to the next class because it helps you people to understand the next class. So it will be abstract class and interfaces tomorrow. Abstract class, abstract methods and interface. Okay. Yes, please do the tasks and come back to the next class. I'll give you people more tasks tomorrow again. Okay? Yes. Okay, fine. So thank you all. Have a nice day and good night. Bye bye.